All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to be looking at the opening verses of a really powerful chapter from the Quran, Surah An-Nahl, which actually means the bee. And to help us navigate it, we're going to use the classic commentary, Tafsir Ibn Kathir, to help us unpack the structure, the language, and the pretty incredible argument that it starts making from the very first line. So, right out of the gate, this chapter doesn't ease you in. It hits you with this dramatic, urgent statement. It's setting a tone of finality, talking about this huge event that isn't just on its way. It's described as if it's already here. And there it is. That first verse lands with some serious weight, doesn't it? It declares that this divine event has arrived, but then it immediately tells people not to be impatient for it. There's this amazing tension right there in that one sentence, this feeling that it's both right at the door and also inevitable. So just wait for it. Now, this is where it gets really interesting linguistically. The commentary from Ibn Kathir points out that the original Arabic uses the past tense for this future event. So why do that? Well, it's a way to show absolute, undeniable certainty. It's a grammatical tool that says, look, this is so guaranteed to happen, we're just going to talk about it like it's already a done deal. What a powerful way to make a point. Okay, so after that bombshell of an opening, the text immediately gets straight to the point. It doesn't leave you guessing. This isn't just some vague warning. It's about delivering one very specific, single message to all of humanity. The source describes this really clear four-step process. It's like a direct chain of command, you could say. It starts with the divine command, it's carried by angels who bring down the revelation, or roof, and it's delivered to specific prophets. And the message is always the same, consistent one at its core, that there's only one being worthy of worship. The key takeaway here is that this warning is presented as being universal and totally unchanging. So let's see how this argument builds. After making that central claim, the text completely shifts its strategy. It moves from just declaring something to demonstrating it. It's basically saying, hey, if you have any doubts about this message, you don't have to take my word for it, just look around you. And this is the whole foundation for the next part of the argument. The commentary shows how the text presents the natural world as this enormous collection of evidence, just a whole series of signs, all pointing back to a single intelligent source. So the source starts listing these signs one by one, and the whole point is to encourage you to think, to reflect. It's an appeal to reason, to your own sense of observation, inviting you to find the proof in the world you see every day. And just look at the sheer breadth of this evidence. I mean, it's the whole shebang. It goes from the massive cosmic scale, we're talking the sun, the moon, the stars, all the way down to the creation of a single human, from what the text calls a nutfa, which is just a tiny drop of fluid. The argument points to everything, the animals that help us, the rain that makes our food grow, the simple, reliable cycle of night and day. All of it is presented as one giant cumulative case, proof for anyone who's willing to just stop and think about it. So the message has been delivered, and the evidence has been laid out. What happens next? Well, this is where we get to the central conflict of the story. It's not about the message anymore, it's about how people respond to it. And the text really boils it down to two completely opposite reactions. I mean, look at how stark that contrast is. You ask people the exact same question about this divine revelation, and the response splits right down the middle. One group immediately recognizes it as something good. The other? They just dismiss it out of hand, calling it tales of the men of old. Just folklore. This isn't a simple disagreement. It's a fundamental difference in how they see the world. And this is where the commentary really digs into that second response. Why just dismiss it? According to the text, the root of the problem isn't about intellect or logic. It's an issue of the heart. The core issues are identified as denial and, maybe most importantly, pride, a kind of arrogance that just stops them from even being able to accept the message. So this conflict, this clash between belief and denial, it all builds toward this ultimate climax, described in the text, the moment of death. And this is where the consequences of those two different paths are shown in the most dramatic, personal way possible. The commentary presents two profoundly different scenes here. For the believers, death is actually a moment of peace. The angels greet them with peace, salamun alaikum, and welcome them to their reward. But for the wrongdoers, it's a moment of reckoning. And even as their souls are being taken, they're still trying to deny what they did, still claiming innocence. It's just this powerful final contrast between acceptance and denial. Now, After laying out this entire argument, the warning, the evidence, the human responses, and the final outcomes, the text doesn't just wrap it up with a neat little summary. Instead, it concludes this whole section by turning the question back on the audience, posing a really powerful reflective challenge. And this is the question it leaves us with. After presenting all this evidence from creation, it asks a really simple, direct question that's just designed to make you think. Can the one who creates all this really be the same as something that creates nothing at all? It's a final appeal to our own reason, a call to reflect on everything that's just been presented, leaving the entire argument squarely in our hands to think about.